Has a manga title ever made you stop and wonder, what the hell is this even about? Well, today we're diving into a story that not only lives up to that confusion, it absolutely blows past it. Get ready to enter the world of Kakeru Kurosawa and Onani Master Kurosawa, a manga that hides, beneath its provocative title, a surprisingly raw and bittersweet look into teenage isolation, the need for acceptance, and the most unexpected ways we try to find it. This whole story starts with Kakeru, inside the girls' bathroom at school. Yeah, you heard that right. Apparently this guy gets off by jerking it in the girls' restroom. And while he's at it, he likes to fantasize about his classmates. Before he starts, he always double-checks that no one's around. Just to be safe, he usually picks the bathrooms on the 3rd floor. Since there are no classrooms or clubs up there, he figures it's the perfect place to do whatever he wants. So, Kakeru heads to his usual spot to do his dirty business. But when he gets there, he realizes he kinda left a mess last time. Like really bad. So he cleans it up, making sure there's no trace of his little crime scene. He manages to finish up, but as he's walking out, boom, he runs into a girl with glasses. Kakeru thinks he's totally screwed. But the girl seems kinda dumb? So he figures it's no big deal. She probably doesn't have many friends either, just like him, a total outcast. He quickly makes up a lie, saying his teacher sent him there for something, though on the inside he's shitting bricks. But like I said, the girl's pretty airhead, so she just turns around and walks away. Kakeru thinks she's weird as hell but decides not to worry about it and heads home. The next day is the last day of school before summer break. So, one guy in class asks everyone if they want to go to karaoke after school. A bunch of students agree, but Kakeru thinks they're all just a bunch of morons. He's already planning to sneak off and pay another visit to his precious 3rd floor bathroom. That's when a guy named Keiji Nagatsuka walks up to him. He's basically the leader of the otaku group in class. Honestly, he seems like a nice dude, but Kakeru just mocks him in his head, calling him cauliflower, which is apparently what everyone else calls him too. He says he'd never hang out with those types, so he lies and says he's not feeling well to avoid going. Keiji, still being super chill, says he'll invite him next time. But Kakeru thinks, there won't be a next time. School's over. Once class ends, he rushes straight to the bathroom again. On the way, he runs into the janitor lady and thinks he should probably be more careful. He gets to the stall and declares it'll be his final fap of the school year. And now, he's fantasizing about that girl from earlier? Yeah, this dude is seriously messed up. After finishing his dirty work, he says it's getting cold, and he better leave before that "I'm sick" lie becomes real. But then, he hears someone coming in and hides in one of the stalls. There's 3 girls. And they quickly notice someone's in there. They try talking to him, but Kakeru's frozen in fear and obviously doesn't respond. Eventually, they give up and start chatting among themselves. Kakeru recognizes them. They're the troublemakers who always skip class and smoke in the 2nd floor bathrooms. But since the janitor was probably cleaning downstairs, they came up to the 3rd floor. Kakeru, in all his hypocrisy, thinks bathrooms aren't for smoking. I mean, you're the last person to talk, dude. The girls finally leave and Kakeru carefully sneaks out too. But before he's fully out, the girls warn him not to try anything funny with what he overheard. Though luckily, they still don't know it was him in the stall. Kakeru gets away, but he can't stop thinking about the whole thing. First the weird girl, now these 3 delinquents. He wonders if maybe he should stop doing this. But nope. The opposite happens. Now he's even more excited. The thrill of almost getting caught kinda turns him on. So yeah, our boy is seriously sick in the head. The chapter ends with Kakeru thinking his life is about to get a lot more interesting, or at least that's what he thought. Because little did he know, his days of fun were already numbered. A new semester begins and Kakeru meets with everyone to see which classroom he got this time. Unfortunately for him, he's stuck with his friend, the cauliflower, again. The guy, as always, is very nice and says he's happy to be with him again, but Kakeru can't think of anything else but the quality of his female classmates. The top one in the class is Nato Kyoko, basically the most beautiful and popular girl in school. The top 2 is Takigawa Magister, who, although not as beautiful according to him, can make it into the top 10 of the entire school. And finally, the top 3, Nishimoto Erika, probably the least mature of the 3, but that's what's available. Kakeru gets excited and thinks that now he's really going to enjoy his marital life to the fullest, if you can call spending all day pleasuring himself that. But he got so horny that he was already saying it out loud and the cauliflower almost caught him. So they go to their new classroom, but upon arriving he is surprised to hear a voice. It's 2 of the girls who almost discovered him last time. Everyone sits down and Kakeru is just thinking about the blowjob he's going to give himself after classes. Apparently, while he was on vacation he didn't do his daily manual, and says he's desperate to release everything he's accumulated. He even chose a new classmate named Kitahara to do it with. But then the person who will be sitting next to him for the semester sits down. It's the first girl who almost discovered him in the bathrooms. Her name is Kitahara Aya. They exchange glances and greet each other awkwardly while continuing with their business. And since most of them are new there, the teacher asks them to introduce themselves. The most prominent is this bald guy named Ichikawa, saying that his dream is to become a singer. The others continue introducing themselves, and finally it's our dear Kakeru-kun's turn. His full name is Kurosawa Kakeru. He is 14 years old, and his hobbies are reading, listening to music, and pleasuring himself in the girls' bathroom. Obviously, he only thought the last part. Finally it's Aya's turn. As we know, she seems very shy, so Kakeru even feels a little sorry for her. But Aya stands in front of everyone and shouts that she is Choi Hong Man. Who knows what the hell that is? Obviously everyone is surprised. Aya closes her presentation by saying that she will become a crazy workaholic and starts throwing punches in the air. For obvious reasons, everyone bursts out laughing, especially these two girls who are the others who almost discovered Kakeru, although it seems that Aya didn't say that voluntarily and those two girls forced her to. They have been harassing her for a long time. The chapter ends with Kakeru saying that Kitahara Aya, the girl he chose as his new victim for his sessions, is being humiliated in front of everyone right now. Several months have passed since the new school year began. Kakeru comments that the friend groups in his classroom are already defined. Just then we see those girls bothering Aya, ruining her breakfast. Kakeru just watches everything while thinking that he has nothing to do with it, since he doesn't have any special relationship with her. He has only exchanged a couple of words with her and has used her as an object for his dirty deeds. And he thinks that instead of worrying about that, he decides to choose Nato Kyoko as his next victim, and well, at this point we shouldn't be surprised by the things he does and thinks. Once classes are over, he immediately goes to the bathrooms and fantasizes about her with Kyoko. Honestly, I'm not going to say anything more about this. After finishing, literally, he is totally euphoric with the masturbation he had, even saying that he bowed to his semen before leaving. As he is leaving school he hears a noise. Aya has just fallen out of a tree. Kakeru asks her if she's okay. She just quickly says yes and takes a somewhat distant posture. She is about to leave, but we see that she has her gym clothes in her hands. So Kakeru stops her and asks her if she is being intimidated by those girls in her class, as it seems it was them who threw her clothes into that tree. She, in a very cold tone, tells him that she is sorry, but that it is not his problem and thanks him anyway for worrying. So she says goodbye and runs off. The chapter ends with Kakeru saying that indeed Aya is right, it's really not his problem. The boys are in their gym class, you know, the usual, some playing, others messing around and others spying on the girls. Upon finishing and entering their classroom, this bald guy realizes that someone broke the window. So they quickly wonder if someone broke in to steal and quickly check their belongings. Apparently the only thing missing was this chubby guy's uniform, aka Pizzas. They are all trying to find the uniform but are unsuccessful, so Pizzas takes his classes in his gym clothes. At the end of class, Aya approaches him and hands him his uniform, saying she found it in her backpack. She, very embarrassed, says she doesn't know why it was there, so she apologizes and leaves. But then those annoying girls stop her and try to pressure her to confess that she was the one who stole the uniform. Poor Aya, under all the pressure, has no choice but to say that she stole it. Everyone in the class is whispering things, but we realize that it was those damn rotten girls who actually did it to bother her. And still not satisfied, they ask Aya if she's in love with Pizzas. Everyone in the class tries to hold back their laughter and the scumbags pressure Aya even more, forcing her to confess in front of the whole class. The whole class joins in and pressures Aya, so she, cornered, has no other option but to do it. When she does, the whole class starts to mock her. Little Aya can't take it anymore and starts to cry, but everyone laughs even louder, saying that her tears are probably tears of happiness. So for the first time we see our protagonist quite irritated and annoyed, all because not only are those girls being cruel, but now the whole class is taking part in this. So he clenches his fist tightly and says that he doesn't know why, but he will make sure that those girls get what they deserve. Kakeru continues with his sessions and hallucinations in the bathroom, but this time he fantasizes about Shugawa, one of the girls who bothers Aya. He does everything to her, at least in his mind, and honestly I'm starting to worry a little about our protagonist. After finishing his business, he tells us that he has already put his revenge plan into action. He arrives at his classroom and we see how everyone is very restless while he says that things are happening just as he planned. Mr. Cauliflower approaches him and tells him that apparently there was another theft in the classroom, This time the affected ones were the girls who bother Aya. They are very angry, interrogating everyone to find out who it was. By the way, the theft is the same, their gym uniforms. The protagonist already thinks he's Kira, saying that everything is going just as he planned. Just then the girls approach them asking if they know anything. Apparently they already suspect Kakeru, since he was the only one absent from that class. But Cauliflower covers for him, saying it was because he was sick, and apparently Kakeru just arrived at school at that very moment. So he denies everything and the girls have no choice but to give up. Then some girls from another class come in saying they found some uniforms in the girls' bathroom. They drop them off and run to wash their hands, and we realize that Kakeru is sicker than we thought, as he pleasured himself with their uniforms. And so, they finally tell us how he planned everything. First, he told his teacher and his friend Cauliflower that he would be late because he was sick in the hospital. Then he entered the school as soon as it opened at 7 a.m., waited for the classroom to be empty, and stole the uniforms. He went into the bathroom and did what he does, leaving the uniforms there. Kakeru can only think that they deserved it for what they did to Aya. Just then the teacher enters and asks them to sit down, but immediately notices the tense atmosphere, so he asks them if something happened. Shugawa turns around very angrily, throws her uniform and leaves. The confused teacher asks the other students if something happened, but no one dares to say anything, so they start the class. And for a brief moment, Kakeru and Aya's eyes met. He thinks it was just a coincidence that he doesn't think she discovered him, and wonders if she feels satisfied by how pathetic those two girls looked. They tell us that in the end the incident came to nothing, that the girls only missed class for one day, but since that was common for them, no one suspected anything. The next day they showed up as if nothing happened and continued their daily routine of bothering Aya, and although they continue to do so, it seems they are a bit more moderate. One Monday before recess, their teacher informed them about the upcoming study trip, so he asked them to form groups of 5 for it. And as usual, many students began to complain about this. Our protagonist, all antisocial and aloof, just stays in his seat thinking that everything is nonsense, that the trip will only last 3 days so it doesn't really matter with whom you go. The otaku group is discussing who among them will be left out, so Cauliflower, being nice, decides to leave to form a group with Kakeru. Kakeru is obviously happy, so in summary their group ended up being made up of Kakeru, Cauliflower, Aya, and pizzas. Kakeru is quite stressed with all the trip stuff and says that maybe a manual will calm him down. So he goes to the bathrooms, chooses his prey, unzips his pants, sharpens his pencil and takes out his eraser, this time achieving a new flight distance record. He cleans everything and as he is about to leave, he hears light footsteps approaching, and since this has happened to him several times, he thinks he should keep calm as panicking would only lead to him being discovered. The person knocks on the door, Kakeru just stays silent, thinking it's the best thing, but then the girl outside asks, "Are you there, Kakeru-kun?" He, for obvious reasons, turned pale and wonders how she found out, as he had always been extremely cautious to avoid it. She calls him again and Kakeru recognizes the girl's voice. While he thinks that if he remains silent he will simply confirm that it is him, so he is forced to make a decision, and finally they reveal which girl it is. It's Aya, who says she has a favor to ask him. The chapter ends with Kakeru expressing that it was the first time he heard Aya speak with such confidence and determination in what she was saying.